everyone. My name is Sushain, and welcome to the very first episode of the Flag Goes Up podcast, where we will be talking about all things football with a pinch of banter as well. And what better way to start than to preview the biggest game in club competition? We are, of course, talking about the UEFA Champions League final. I'm joined here by Gurjot and Shivang, and for the next 30 minutes, we will be talking about all you need to know before Saturday's big game. Yeah, Gurjot, Shivang, guys, Champions League final. I mean, doesn't get any bigger than this. Where do we even start from?
Before we start the podcast, I just want to know, am I allowed to swear?
I don't think so. I think it's a family show. I think we better keep it PG-13.
I'll keep it PG-13.
Yeah.
So one of you just tell me, what the hell am I doing here? Man, come on.
I mean,
This ain't fair. I know you guys have brought me just to banter me and
no, no,
all. I
no,
know
no,
that.
no. I
Come
mean,
on, man.
this whole podcast was your idea, and I mean, you just had to be here for the first episode, and obviously not that only. We needed a city perspective as well. It's so difficult to find city fans in their own stadium. Imagine how difficult it would have been for us to find a city
I
fan.
would agree.
Yeah. So I think
I'll give you
I
that.
think
Yeah,
I
I'll
think the
give you that.
stars just aligned for you to be here.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So just to get our allegiances out of the way, guys, I think it goes without saying for me and Shivang that we are Chelsea and United fans respectively. Gurjot here is a Gooner. Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I just can't wait for Man City to put 5 past you lot in the final, man. In our worst season, we did the double over you. Imagine what would City do.
I
I think Arteta broke to chill.
the,
I
the
really think.
City haven't been able to do anything to Tuchel's Chelsea so far. I mean, 2 matches, 2 wins, 1 goal conceded. I think we've kept City
Yeah.
quiet. We've kept their free flowing attacking football at bay. So I am pretty confident going into the final.
Yeah, now
Great.
guys, let's move on to discuss the tactics.
So before we discuss the tactics, I mean, sorry to interrupt you. Could you please tell our viewers, I mean, who will be hosting the Champions League opening ceremony this season?
Yeah, all of us might have heard. It's going to be Marshmallow.
Yeah. So you are telling me that there is a very high chance that we'll get to see Biba Nachdi before a Champions League final. Is that what you're saying? I mean, imagine Guardiola walking with their sides and Biba Nachdi playing in the background.
Come on.
They could replace the
Man, it'll be crazy.
they could replace the Champions League anthem with this song. They're standing with all seriousness, and in the background it goes Viva Nachdi.
Crazy. That's a good one.
I mean, yeah, okay. Enough with the banter
Man,
now.
I'm sure we'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. I think every one of us and the viewers as well would keep an eye out, especially for that song, or an ear out for that song. at
Yeah.
least.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, now let's move on to the tactics.
Yeah, big man
So-
thing, big man talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk
right.
tactics.
So Joe
Big man.
just
Big
mentioned
talk.
about Man City, like the Pep's team have been, free scoring teams. Always have scored for fun. Like if we move on to the history books, we have seen Pep's Barcelona, Pep's Bayern Munich. They scored goals for like anything. So moving on from the Tuchel's perspective, we have seen the completely opposite of Pep. Like he has been very pragmatic, and we just had this final, FA Cup final, right? So in the final also,
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Of
FA
course.
Cup final. So they're right.
Of
So
course.
that was a contrasting, image of Tuchel's team lineup in comparison to his other ones. And one simple point which I used to make, like I made out from the game that time, was Reece James playing as the right centre back and Aspilicueta at right wing back. And they only had three attacking three attacking players, attackers on the pitch, like Werner, Mount, Ziyech, and in in anticipation of a good or a strong lineup, I would ask Sushain here, like, is there a chance we can see Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic all three starting in the lineup?
I mean, I won't be surprised if we do. The season is at that point of at that point of the stage now. I mean, we as fans overthink so much whenever our teams have to play these big games, be it a derby game or a cup final game or like this, the Champions League final game. I mean, if we as fans overthink so much, I can only imagine what the managers go through. I mean, we're only talking about Tuchel here, but the guy on the other side, Pep Guardiola, is the biggest overthinker of them all. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be praying, I would be hoping that he overthinks his tactics and plays Kyle Walker as a false nine. I mean, that's what I would be hoping. But to answer, yeah, but to answer your question, I mean, I don't think that would be the case that all three of Kante, Kovacic, and Jorginho starting, and Reece James playing at right centre back and Aspilicueta playing at right wing back. I would not call it pragmatism. I think he did that against Leicester and against Leicester only the two games, the cup final and then the league game that was immediately after that. Mainly because Vardy is a little, Vardy is very fast and he could have, got in behind Aspilicueta pretty easily. So I think to control Vardy, he played Reece James at right centre back. And obviously after the press conference as well, he says that, Aspilicueta is a little bit more attack minded than Reece James. He takes more risks when he's in the final third or close to the byline. Whereas Reece James tries to play it safe. He would rather play the ball back, but Aspilicueta would rather attempt a cross inside the box. So to answer your question, no. And even I would not want him to play all three defensive midfielders together. I would personally like that there is a proper balance in the team. So yeah, just to answer your question, I don't think that is going to be the case. We will see Kante definitely, and I think I would have been pretty sure that it would have been Kante and Kovacic. But given the fact that how Kovacic looked a little rusty against against Aston Villa in the last league game, although he did look pretty good against Leicester City, but against Aston Villa I was a little rusty. So I think it might be Kante or Reece James in the defensive midfield positions. I don't know, but I think still going forward, it'll be either Kante or Kovacic. Only two number six players will play. No chance that Tuchel plays all three of those. I mean, the three defensive midfielders that Chelsea have. I feel that going into the final, he will want to keep a balanced team walking out there. Yeah.
Yeah, right. We need that. And Thiago Silva, another man in the Chelsea lineup, the experience of a good centre back is very important in the final.
Agreed,
So
agreed. I
now
mean,
let's move on.
Tuchel and Thiago Silva both, played both were part of the last season's Champions League final.
Yes.
Lost, obviously, PSG lost. So I think it could be really hoping for a redemption arc here as well. So let's see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Now, Gujot, let's have City's perspective from you.
My opinion would not be regarded as the best, but I think I would go with Sergio Aguero up top because the potency that a striker provides, I don't think a midfielder does that. And we have all seen that Chelsea are notoriously difficult to break down, and they are very difficult to break down. The sort of runs that Aguero would make, I don't think that De Bruyne would make them sort of runs. And he will be providing the ball for the likes of Aguero, Foden, and Mahrez rather than being at the end of things. So, yeah, I would rather like Aguero to play in the final. It might, my opinion would not make sense to many, but yeah, I would rather go with Aguero up top.
But City has been pretty successful with the false nine throughout the season. I mean, even in the Champions League against PSG, they played both legs with the false nine. I think they were pretty comfortable with it. I mean, there are obviously.
Yeah, I was about to make that. I was about to make that point that they have played without a striker through the whole season. Why change a winning formula? But for me, Aguero is a big game player, and what bigger game than this to shine?
His last game of the season as well. Yeah. But yeah, I think
so
Shivan would agree with me that I mean the false nine has its own advantages. I mean your centre backs don't know who to mark, and
absolutely, yeah, it plays on to the the attackers advantage. Like the centre backs and the wing backs, they have been in this confusion, like which player will attack on which front and then move on to the front. That's what City has been doing all season, and they have been quite successful on this. And
yeah, they have been quite successful.
Yeah. And Gujot mentioned Phil Foden, right? So Phil Foden's emergence this season has been phenomenal. Like he managed to push Raheem Sterling to the bench, who was scoring 30 goals in a season like in the last years, and Phil Foden has been a sensation this season. On a serious note, I would say.
Yeah. The guy is a superstar, man. He has taken Raheem Sterling players, as you said. He scored 30 odd goals in the last season, and man, I love watching Foden. He reminds me of a prime Mesut Ozil, like in 2015-16. The guy used to just glide on the pitch. the way he turns players inside out, man, I just love him. And I think that Raheem Sterling doesn't stand a chance to start in the final. It has to be Phil Foden. The
No,
guy's great.
yeah. I think
Absolutely.
we'll come to that. I think we'll come to the predicted lineups as well. But I think, yeah, I think all three of us
Yeah,
can agree that I think it'll be Phil Foden, you know,
And it's
starting
it's
over
yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of
Sterling on the left.
it's kind of safe to say like we have fans of Phil Foden here
Yeah.
among us, right?
Yeah,
Okay, then so my own allegiance to Man United will obviously sparkle some like a level of bias towards City. So I
about
guess
time.
the time, yeah, about time does it about time like I give my perspective on Manchester City and Chelsea fan. So Chelsea has a superior head-to-head record this season against City. We mentioned the league game, the FA Cup semi-final, both recent games of Chelsea and City, and Chelsea, beat them in both the games. And I don't know if people or the fans they go with the omens and the superstitions. Whenever Chelsea has gone into a final as an underdog, they have managed to win that comprehensively at the end. Like 2012, 2021 sounds cool for the Chelsea fans, right? And
Yeah,
not to forget Manchester City's creative spark, that is Bernardo Silva. He has been playing, under the radar, so many underrated performances this season, and has been ticking all the boxes which are needed for that false line, formation to go and score and have that creative spark on the field. And maybe one other point which I personally feel is that the only trophy missing from City's cabinet throughout these years has been the Champions League trophy, right? The all coveted Champions League trophy. And Pep Guardiola is on a personal mission, I feel, to actually go on to the final and then win it for Manchester City. Like he has been, this is like his the first final he's playing without Messi in the last 10 years. So I think he's
yeah.
finally ready to take the jinx, I guess, right?
Hope
And
not.
Them
I
winning
have
once,
Hope not.
yeah, them winning once was a disaster. The second time will be catastrophe, man. I can't take it.
yeah, you would say that. And
Yeah,
but
yeah, man.
we all will admit, I think, that City has been a top team in the Premier League for the last decade or so.
For
And
sure.
I know it disgusts me as a Man United fan, but I have to acknowledge the truth, right?
Yeah.
Hold your hands up.
So, yeah. Now let's move on. We'll go on with the recent form of both the teams up to the final. So let's start with Sushane.
I mean, recent forms, where do I even start from? I mean, if I talk about the last 5 matches, Chelsea have had 3 defeats and only 2 wins. I mean, so that doesn't sound as, I mean, that obviously Chelsea fans would not feel as confident as they would have, when we beat Real Madrid, when secured our place into the Champions League final. But if we talk about overall, I mean, what Tuchel has done since he's come on, uh, as Frank Lampard's replacement. I think he's done a really good job. I think every Chelsea fan would be satisfied the way he has carried the club. Uh, given in such a short time that he had, in just 4 months, he has, he's confirmed the top four. Obviously, not the way we would have liked, but yeah, I mean, top four, we've managed to get top four. Again, 2 cup finals, one of them
Sneaky.
obviously we did lose against Leicester City, but yeah, I think we did not play very bad. I think the 3 games that we've lost as well,
It was the
out of the
goal,
last
man.
5 games,
It,
the 1-0 loss against Arsenal, the 1-0 loss against Leicester, and the 2-1 defeat against Aston Villa. I think I would like to make this point, like the same point what Jose Mourinho made in 2000 campaign, that there was a campaign against Chelsea. I think in all the 3 matches, that was is what I saw. I think the starting off with the Arsenal game and the FA Cup final loss, both Arsenal and Leicester had only one shot on target, and obviously they scored from that. In both the games in the FA Cup
that's what
final,
counts.
we had that goal disallowed, and against Arsenal, I think it was Chambers who just handled the ball inside the box, and I think VR didn't even bother to look at it. Same
Holding.
same against, yeah, I think it was holding. Yeah, same
Yeah,
case
yeah.
against Aston Villa. I think Tyrone Mings. It was blatant handball. I think it would have been a red card because that was obstructing the goal as well. Again, VR didn't bother to look at it. So I think the form the Chelsea have lost these 3 matches, but they haven't played as bad as, I mean, some fans would have, given the fact that the losses would have been, a uh, little less. Chelsea fans would have gone into the final feeling a little less confident after hearing the stat that they have 3 losses in 5 games. But if you have seen those games, they haven't played so badly. So I think if we talk about form, again, yeah, only 2 wins out of the last 5, 3 losses. But if you look how overall, I think how Tuchel has transformed the Chelsea's defense, every player knows what his role is on the pitch. I think Chelsea fans can go into the Champions League final feeling quite confident. If, like, it won't be a one-sided tie. Obviously, we will give City a tough fight, and we might as well just go and a 70th minute winner or something like that. But talking about
You
talking
wish.
about yeah, but talking about the form, I mean, not the recent form, but I would like to make this one point. I think this was the stat I was reading on Twitter, so I thought I would share it with our viewers as well. That since the 2012 final, since the Champions League final that Chelsea won in 2012, Chelsea have played in 16 finals. Yeah, so from 2013 to 2021, Chelsea have played in 16 finals and they've won only four. Now that is a scary fact. Now this would dent a lot of Chelsea fans' confidence going into the final. Where is it? Where has it gone wrong in the finals? We've done well reaching 16 finals in 9 years, but why haven't we been able to go one step beyond? I mean, this is a ridiculous stat if you ask me. If I would if I were
A
if I
great
were
stat.
if I were to tell you, I mean, if I were to tell certain someone who watches the Premier League week in and week out, and tell him that, hey, there is a team who has reached 16 finals but has only won four out of those 16 finals. Can you guess which team are we talking about? He would nine out of
The
10
bottlers.
say Tottenham. I mean, Tottenham are
Spurs.
the biggest bottle jobs in the Premier League, and I think their record in the final would be better than
Tottenham
Chelsea's
bashing.
record. 25% win record in finals is an absolute shambles, and I seriously hope that changes this week. I mean, this Saturday. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. The form that worries me is the Chelsea's form in the recent finals, but otherwise, I think Chelsea will play as we know how they can play. I mean, that is to give solid performances, solid pragmatic performances. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems Sushen has done a lot of work on this side.
Yeah.
And the FA also, it's the favorite team, the Chelsea's favorite team of FA.
No, no,
Anyway,
no,
don't
that's
want
that.
to.
No way. No, 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 not a chance. FA, like Ashley Cole called FA. I think we declared it a PG-13 show, so I can't use that word here. But
And then let's
but
skip
but
that
there is
one.
no way Chelsea is FA's most favored team. No way. Not a chance.
Anyways,
Yeah.
let's move on here. Okay, Man City on the other hand. Good job, please go on.
My opinion on my opinion on this is that I don't think form plays a role. I think form goes out of the window in big games, and this is a Champions League final. I don't think form plays a role. Every player will be up for it. Managers, fans, thank God fans are there. Everyone will be up for it. It's a one-off game. Anybody can win it. And as for Man City, I mean, their squad depth is amazing. You can't even pick 11 who will play in the final. Their B team can just give you a top-notch fight in the final. And as Sushain said, he's a Pep Guardiola is the biggest overthinker of them all. You might see, as you said, Kyle Walker playing up top. Yeah. So for me, yeah, form goes out of the windows in these big games. And fun fact: the only place where Man City haven't won a match is the one hosting the final. So you never know. Omens are there for you.
Mind games. Nice. Well, it surely seems we have our podcast up and running in this all English final of the showpiece event. So now let's move on to our next segment. That's Road to the Final for both the teams. So, Sushain, Gurjot, it's an open forum. Now, come on, City's performance has been like 5 wins, one draw to the final, and Chelsea 4 wins and two draw, almost equal. So, where
Yeah.
the other teams are lacking, or other teams have been in comparison to each other's.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea might have had an easier road to the final, not the quarterfinals. They had to face a pretty good Atletico Madrid side, as they're very difficult to break through. But to play Porto in the final, who defeated a lackluster Juventus side, that semi-final was a bit one-off. But yeah, I don't take any credit. I don't take any credit for that. But yeah, so Shane, what do you think?
I mean, there are no easy games in Champions League Champions League knockouts. I mean, you could say that Porto was an easier tie as compared to Borussia Dortmund that Manchester City got, but Porto defeated Juventus, Porto defeated a Juventus team which had a Mr. Champions League in the team itself. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo's Juventus was
He was
beaten by
champ.
this Porto team, so I don't think you can call any European tie as an easy game, especially if it is a knockout game. And speaking of the road to final, I think yeah, both teams have had identical journeys. City 5 wins, 1 draw. Chelsea 4 wins, 2 draws. Chelsea's opponents in the round of 16, Atletico Madrid, their opponents were Borussia Mönchengladbach. Chelsea got Porto, they got Dortmund. Chelsea got Real Madrid, they got PSG. So I think it has been, I think the journeys have been identical. They both have had their, their the tough games, which they're easy games. They both have been able to rotate their squads. They both have had their lucks with VAR and everything. So I think I think you cannot say that okay, one where in any point of the journeys of the two clubs where they do not deserve to be in the finals. I think both these clubs have performed exceptionally well throughout their European campaigns, and I think they will give it their all in the final as well, which any club would, given the fact that we are talking about the biggest game in club football.
Absolutely. And so they say that the game is won by team effort, and there are certainly certain players, individuals who can, win the game by itself. Like their skill set is beyond comparison, in other words. And so let's talk about the players to look out for from either side. So from Chelsea's perspective, Gurjot will start.
It's a toss up between, I think, Mason Mount and Kante, but I would prefer Mason Mount because this season he's been fantastic. It's hard for me to say, but yeah, he has a great season. He's that one player that I would want in my team. He can play a number 6, a number 8. He can play out on the wings. So I would love that kind of a player. And yeah, he's for me. I think he's the only player that can take the game to City. And he was recently awarded Chelsea's Player of the Year. So yeah, for me, it's Mason Mount.
So Shane.
For me, I think, yeah, I think if you ask any other person out there that to pick one Chelsea player that would be, that would be the one to look out for in the Champions League final, I think they would either say Mason Mount or N'Golo Conte. But what I feel, I think I don't know. I think after the Aston Villa game, I think some people might not agree with me, but I still think that Mateo Kovacic is going to be Chelsea's. I think instrumental in if Chelsea are able to secure the win at the final. I mean, he's obviously he's Tuchel's most trusted midfielder. Tuchel, I think it will be Kovacic and Kante who will start in the double pivot in the Champions League final. Again, I mean Kovacic, why? Because I think some of his qualities as a midfielder are the best that there is. I think some of the things that he does, he's the best at. Press resistant. I think what we know from Pep Guardiola's team is that as soon as they lose the ball, they give it their all in the after the 6 seconds to just win it back. So it's that 6 second press that Pep Guardiola talks about for majority of his teams, for all his teams, be it Bayern Munich or Barcelona. So I think Kovacic being press resistant will be able to hold up the ball, and I think Chelsea will play on the counter. So as soon as City lose the ball, they will press. If Kovacic has the ball, great. He will be able to resist City's press and then play those transitions to Werner or Pulisic, who will run behind Manchester City's defense on the counter. So I think because of the fact that Kovacic being the best dribbler is able in the Chelsea team is able to carry the ball forward exceptionally well, similar to how N'Golo Kante did against Real Madrid, and the fact that he's press resistant, he will be able to resist City's 6 second press. I think these three factors make Kovacic the one player to look out for, and I think he will be the most important player for Chelsea. But the given how he played against Aston Villa, he looked a little rusty. But again, yeah, I mean, rustiness goes out of the way when you're playing the Champions League final. I think mentally,
Yeah.
if you're there, you're there. So I think Kovacic will be very important.
Absolutely. So guys, about Man City, there are so many players to look out for. Like there's Diaz, there's Foden, there's De Bruyne, or even the all-improved John Stones, if I may say. So, Gujot, what's your take on the City's lineup and the player to watch?
Yeah, like you said, you can't name one. There's so many, but for me, it's the superstar Kevin De Bruyne. My God, that guy is a phenomenon. He has an
Agreed.
exceptional vision.
Agreed.
He can even pass a ball through a needle. He's just that good. And for me, he's the best midfielder in the world right now. And yeah, he's better than Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, let's pick that out for the next episode. Shall we?
Yeah. Man, I can go on hours talking about him. The podcast will feel small. So yeah, for me,
I
it's
think
Kevin De Bruyne
we could
all
do
day.
just do one episode on Manchester City's most important players. I think you could just name players
Yeah.
after player, and even one episode wouldn't be suffice for that.
Yeah.
Right.
We need 11 hours for
Yeah.
11 players.
Actually.
Okay, moving on. Cities we have to watch for Sushin.
Yeah, I think as Gurjot rightly said, you cannot pick one player out of their. I mean, their even their bench, their B team is something is a kind of a team that could finish in the top four of the Premier League.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can pick one player out. And it doesn't necessarily have to be an outfield player. I mean, Ederson, given the fact that he's a great goalkeeper, I think I think
Yeah.
the first thing that a goalkeeper has to do is to stop the shots that are coming at his way. But I think his distribution, I think it's so brilliant. The way he
Out of the
found out
world.
Foden with that 70-yard ball against PSG. I mean,
Yeah.
how many goalkeepers in the world can do that? So yeah, I mean,
Yeah. How can you defend it, man?
yeah, how can you defend that? I think you cannot press the
Yeah.
goalkeeper because he's the last person. You wouldn't want to waste your energy pressing the goalkeeper. And when you give him
Yeah.
space like that, he's able to pick out that 70-yard ball to Phil Foden. And I think that chance resulted in Manchester City's first goal. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if you have quality like that, and this is just one player we are talking about, they have 25 players in their squad. So how can you pick one player out? But obviously, I think if we are going to pick one player out, again, I think it's going to be an unpopular opinion. Even some of the City fans might not agree with me, but I think I'll go with Riyad Mahrez because again he was brilliant in the both the legs against PSG, scored in both the legs, and I think he has been very important in Manchester City's all the big games that they have played this season. I think everyone saw how their season started. They didn't look like they would be even finishing in the top four, let alone be
Yeah.
champions so comfortably. And I think,
You guys too, man. Chelsea don't. I was scratching my head at one point. How does Chelsea get to play two finals? The sort of season they were having
I mean, we
that
just
November
had
and
six, seven.
December, we were 16th.
We,
Yeah, we were 16th and we beat you 3-1 at the Emirates,
I
man.
mean,
I was like,
we
whoa,
just
man,
had six
why?
or 7 weeks.
I want to be Chelsea right now.
We just had 6, 7 weeks, that didn't go along our way. Before that, Lampard also had a 17 match unbeaten run, but then, things went south after consecutive defeats against Wolves and Everton. So I think, yeah, fair. I think, yeah, Tuchel has done a great job. I think, but yeah,
Yeah,
speaking of Manchester City's player to watch out for me, would be Riyad Mahrez.
Well, that's an interesting choice,
interesting.
Sushin.
Yeah.
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 So now moving on to the last segment of our day, it's the predicted lineup and the score prediction. So let's begin with Chelsea. Sushin, you may go ahead.
Yeah, so starting lineup, I think pretty simple. Obviously, some of these players I'm taking their names because of the fact that their fitness might be an issue, because we saw Mendy go off injured at halftime against
Yeah,
Aston Villa. So
Kepa,
yeah, so I don't know whether he will be fit or not, but hoping that he
dinosaur hands.
but hoping that he is, hoping for the positive, hoping for the best. I think Mendy in goal. Again, Thiago Silva, goes without saying, the most experienced player. Antonio Rudiger, I think he has been I think it's like an
Yeah,
incarnated
since
Rudiger under
Tuchel.
Tuchel. And then third center back, I think it would be Andres Christensen if he's fit. Yeah. If we talk about wing backs, again, Ben Chilwell on the left, Cesar Azpilicueta on the right. Cesar Azpilicueta, why? Because he's the club captain, so I think he will play. Going for the two pivotal midfielders, the number six, double six as we call it, I think N'Golo Kante and Mateo Kovacic. We might see Reece James with N'Golo Kante as well, but I think it will be N'Golo Kante and Mateo Kovacic. And then for the three attacking players, I think Timo Werner, because I think his pace is going to be crucial if Chelsea would have to play
Yeah,
a counter against Manchester City.
team.
So Timo Werner, Turbo Timo. I think Timo Werner will be there. Mason Mount goes without saying. And the
Yeah,
third player, I think Hakim Ziyech, for just for the reason that he has played Manchester City twice and he has scored in both the games. So I think Tuchel might just pick Hakim Ziyech for the final. So I think this would be my predicted lineup, my Chelsea lineup for Manchester City for the final.
Yeah, and for Man City, I think Gujot has a very tough job right now. Like they have so much of a squad depth.
Yeah.
Like, their team B can also beat any other Premier League team on their day, right? So
Oh
good
yeah,
luck
man.
with the City lineup, right, Gujot?
Yeah. In goal, there's no doubt it's going to be Edison. The back four, Kyle Walker on the right, Ruben Diaz, the centre back, and I would like to see Aymeric Laporte because he's a great ball playing defender. I know he hasn't played that much football this season, but I would want to see Laporte. For me, I think Stones has done good this season, but Laporte is more calm and composed on the ball. And on the left, João Cancelo, I think he's better than Zinchenko, and he's definitely better than Benjamin Mendy. So yeah, that's my back four. The midfield three, Rodri, Gundogan, and Kevin De Bruyne. And the front three would be Foden on the left, Mahrez on the right, and as I said, I want to see Aguero up top. Yeah, for me, that's my 11 for Man City.
Yeah.
As we can, this lineup will not be there at all, or
So
this lineup might be there.
no
So
Kyle
yeah,
Walker, no Kyle Walker as number 9.
yeah, no
Okay.
Kyle Walker as number 5.
You're
Yeah,
hoping too much now.
I mean, we never know with Pep. I think
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
that's
think
right.
for
We never know.
the FPL players, I think for the Fantasy Premier League players would know
man,
how
he's been nightmare,
how,
man.
how
He's a
He's
nightmare
a
in
headache, right?
FPL.
he is with his rotation and stuff like that. So
He's a
it
rotation, right?
wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, it's finally time the score prediction. So Shane,
The
let's
big
begin
one.
with the
I mean, I don't even want to, man. I'm a very superstitious guy. I don't want to jinx it by predicting the score, but since first
yeah,
But
episode,
we
we
can
need one. It's the protocol
yeah,
of
it's
the
yeah.
show.
protocol.
We need a prediction.
Yeah, I think I would go with a 2-1 win for Chelsea. I mean, can't see it
2-1.
ending.
Oh, bold.
Yeah. Gujot must be hoping 5 to 6 goals, right?
Yeah, as much as I want City to wipe the floor clean with City with Chelsea, I want them, but I would go with a solid 1-0 because I know, all banter aside, I know it will be a tough game, tight game. Both team will set each other out in the first half. So yeah, I would think that Man City will edge Chelsea. I think 1-0, solid 1. Aguero to score.
Your favorite, huh?
Yeah.
Anyways, so my prediction.
What
is
about
like
you?
1-0 win. Yeah, 1-0 win for Chelsea, not City. Which maybe they'll edge out in the
Yeah.
80th or the 90th minute at the end,
Understood.
like
Understood.
2012 finals. Anyways, so thank you
Yeah.
guys for joining, and it was nice to see your lovely faces for the first episode of the Flag Goes Up podcast.
Yeah, Zoom helps.
Yeah. Soon
Right.
will help.
Yeah. I just want to say thanks to all our viewers. I hope you liked our first episode. Please let us know what you think about the episode in the comment section below, and we'll be coming with our next episode very soon. So
Yeah.
watch out.